whatever you do in your work, whilst you're being authentic and true, always give to just give. Don't give to receive. So if you're going to do when I started doing live workouts, I did it because people can't afford to pay subscriptions. And you know what? I didn't even think about the money. I just did live workouts because I wanted to do them for myself mainly, and just to help other people feel good about themselves. And when you start giving freely in that sense, everything, slowly things always come back to you.
Welcome back to another episode of the Social CEO podcast. I'm your host, Dani Barker, and today I'm going to be talking to my good friend, Saima, who's better known online as Coach Saima. Saima is a personal trainer based in London and is also a prolific content creator on social media. Saima's commitment to sharing her story and creating live workouts for her audience have landed her a brand ambassador role with Decathlon and even a feature in Women's Health magazine. We're going to talk about how Saima got started in the fitness industry, what bigger mission she's on, and how she stays aligned with that mission whilst her personal brand continues to grow. So stay tuned, and don't forget, if you are enjoying this episode, then we'd love to see you sharing it on your social media. As always, the links that you need to find us are in the description below. For any listeners that don't already know who you are, how would you introduce yourself?
I would just say, hi, I'm Coach Saima. That's how I'm known.
Love it. And in a nutshell, what do you do? There's a lot that you do, so it's going to be a big nutshell.
Yeah, so I am a fitness coach or personal trainer, and I'm also a mum. So I have 2 full-time jobs, basically.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, flashing it back, I think it's been probably 18 months, which sounds kind of crazy, but we met on a fitness business retreat in Ibiza in September 2019. Which is only a few months pre-pandemic, but it's oh gosh, we've known each other all this time, but it doesn't feel like that much time. No, that's the only time we've actually met in person still.
Yeah. Yeah,
I know.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's really bad.
It's not.
No, it's not. It's just, you're right. It kind of seems like it wasn't a long time ago, but it was a long time ago, maybe because it was 2019. And it was kind of probably the last time so many of us went away.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I'm so glad that we connected and we've had social media to just keep us connected as well, which has been great during this pandemic. It's funny how a platform such as social media can actually work in a way where it just empowers you, and that's something that I picked up a lot on the last year and a half.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of crazy. I'd say a good 50% of my friends, my inner circle, I've met them less times than I can count on my hands. And one of my friends I saw in London when we were allowed to do stuff outdoors again. So that was I think the beginning of April. And I'd known her for 4 years and I'd still never met her.
Oh, wow.
And it's crazy. The relationships that you can build completely online. Obviously in person is always good fun.
Yes.
But I think it's amazing that we can still build relationships. I have better relationships with people that I've met online than I have in real life.
And you know what, that's what this kind of last year especially has been so testing. I again have come across people and made new friends that I've connected with on a completely different level than I would do, if I was to meet someone and make friends with them. And that's just down to sort of following the same sort of types of pages and what your interests are like. And they're just meaningful friendships, which I think is a blessing. And it's just an added bonus to have something like that when the whole world is going through a crisis, basically. So silver lining in everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that you've got a really strong community on social, in general as well.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, taking it back to the beginning, what made you decide to start sharing your journey on social media? Because I know that, you're on a much bigger mission than just, I know you're setting out to do a lot more than just personal training. So like, where did all of that start for you?
I think I just decided that I got to a point where everything just felt like it was getting too much. And I just wanted to talk and share and get it off my chest. And it just kind of happened that I slowly started doing it on social media. But then I started connecting with like-minded people. And I noticed that as I was sharing my story, my life story, it was helping others. But then also on the flip side, it was almost a bit of therapy for me because I was able to just confront a lot of my fears and just expose myself and just put them on sort of like a plate and out there. So the more I exposed myself, the more confident I sort of became within myself. And I thought, you know what, there really is no harm in sharing my stuff, my life journey and things that I've been through, my ups and downs, because there's always someone listening and there's always that one person that it will reach. So that's kind of like why I started. I think it was about two Christmases ago that I had really bad episode of bloating, basically, and my body was just going through all these weird changes, and I got so embarrassed, and I had my esteem just dropped. I was lacking a lot of confidence. I found myself having to go to the gym and wearing really baggy hoodies, and it started disrupting my sleep, my eating pattern, and my work. And I just didn't want to come into the gym. I wanted to stay at home. And I just remember talking to one of the coaches and I just broke down in tears. And I was like, he's like, what is wrong? What is wrong? And I'm like, I just don't know what's going on with my body. And he was like, right, let's just kind of take a step back and address a few things. And I'm going to help you. Why don't we start a journey? And why don't you try documenting it? And that's how it kind of came through, that I started sharing my stuff and about what I was experiencing and all the food I was eliminating. And it just started off from that I just built the confidence to share things on Insta. And then it just kind of led to sort of me and my present day.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really interesting that you say that, because I think social media, whether you're just an individual or whether you are a business owner or an entrepreneur, it tends to get quite a bad rep for, making you feel self-conscious or, affecting your self-esteem, self-worth when you're following other people and you're like always caught up in other people's opinions and what's trending and what's okay and what's not okay. But for you to say that actually it did the opposite for you and you found your confidence through social media, I think that's the kind of stories that we need to be sharing.
Yeah, 100%. And I think there's so much more in truth and being relatable and being honest, because I will get kind of annoyed at certain people that I see on Instagram, let's say, that showcase a perfect scenario, showcase everything is just happy, perfect, when I know it's never like that, because no one has a life that is perfect. Everyone faces struggles. So for me, it's just so important to keep it real, because there are more people that are going through sort of downs than they are ups. And we just need to keep it real and honest and relatable.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And how long were you doing fitness before you joined social media? What was the sort of timeline on that one?
So, good question. I was probably doing it for at least 3 years prior, 3 or 2 years prior to that. So I kind of started working in fitness about 6 years ago. So I've been in the industry 6 years, and I started doing boot camps outdoors, but I was never really sort of putting it out on social media. And that was kind of like just working for an ex-partner. And then once I kind of stepped up and I joined Our Parks, that's when I had to learn about how to use Twitter. And then I think after that, I kind of rolled onto Insta. So it's been, I think, about 4 years since I've been on Insta, or 3. I don't even know, actually. I'll have to find out.
Okay. Do you think that between, like, starting in fitness for yourself and starting work in fitness, has social media changed like the goals that you're setting and the impact you want to make? Like when you first started working as a PT, what was your aim then and how is that different to now? Like, I know that you've got some really ambitious goals, like, how has that evolved and how has social media impacted that one?
So I'll be honest, working as a one-to-one PT, I've been doing that for 3 years. And prior to that, I was just doing group classes. So at the time, before working as a one-to-one PT, it was just a case of getting experience, and just teaching group classes and having a job. When I moved over to David Lloyd, it was tough. First 3 months, I didn't have a client. So for the beginning, it was all about just making money. And I'll be honest with that. It was a case of getting clients, being able to pay my bills. But then at the same time, when I'm with my clients, obviously I'm delivering what needs to be delivered to them. I would post things on social media to kind of just sort of show that, I'm busy, I'm a PT, hey, look at me. And, I work here and I do this and I did this cool exercise with this client today. And I guess I was just following a crowd of people that I thought this is what we should do. But then I kind of I wasn't getting anything out of it. I didn't feel satisfied from it. I didn't really understand what I was doing. And I got to a point where I was so anxious about not having posts prepped the night before, because I need to be seen to be active. I need to be seen to be busy. I need to be seen that I'm doing stuff and that I'm doing really, really well. And that's just fake. And I was just like, what are you doing? I would sit up until like 12, sometimes 1 the night before, prepping a post and getting really worked up about it, not sleeping all night because I just had to have something done. And it was always, and also at the same time, when you're following certain people on Insta, or you have other people that you know of that are very on it, and they're saying you should post every day, you should do this, you should do that, it just sent me in a frenzy. I was just like, I can't do this anymore. What are you doing? So I took a big step back. And that was around the same time of me going through all my sort of health issues. And when I took that step back, I kind of was just like, I need to just do me. I need to kind of just focus on what I'm doing, where I'm at, and take a step back. And it kind of just slowly started unfolding from there. So when it started unfolding, that's when I started realizing what my purpose is and why have I started fitness? When did I start enjoying fitness? From a young age, and what do I want to do with this? So I've done a lot of sort of soul searching. I've done a lot of thinking about my past, how my past has shaped me. And now my goal is completely different. Now it's progressed into like why I started, why I want to keep doing it, and that I just want to help other people in the process.
Yeah, no, I think that's amazing. That is amazing. And, how would you describe, that impact that you want to have, if some of the listeners aren't familiar with, what journey you are on?
So with me, fitness for me is important because it's been the one thing that has helped me get back up on my feet, basically. So I am someone that lived a pretty much sheltered life. So I'm South Asian, growing up in a strict household, didn't really socialize, didn't go out, didn't do things that kids normally do. And the only time that I had to myself where I felt really happy and content was at school. And sports and art were the two favorite subjects. And I loved it because it was something I was good at. And it was great because we all worked as a team and everyone was like, we're going to pick Saima first for rounders. Rounders was my absolute favorite. And I took the opportunity whilst being at school as a place to be happy and then, enjoy myself. I took part in football, netball, every sports kind of sort of activity I could. So when I got married when I was young, all of that kind of went out the window, and I just suffered bad relationships, went through domestic abuse, and each time I suffered through that, I just kind of got to a point where I just really cannot put my body through this. I can't put my mind through this. So I would go on walks. And those walks slowly turned into, let me turn that into a jog. And then that jog turned into, let me try and start doing some more movement. And then that turned into, let me sign up to a gym. And then that kind of turned into, well, let me try a HIIT class. Let me try boxing. Let me try, and it just grew and grew and grew. And my journey is basically to speak up for women of color, stroke South Asian women, stroke women or men and men that have been through domestic abuse, to share my journey and say, this is how fitness has helped shaped me. This is how fitness has changed my mindset. This is how fitness has helped me actually find my inner strength, but not just physically, mentally, because there's just so much power within fitness. Like, breathing is so important when you're training and you're doing, heavy squats or deadlifts. You've got to make sure your breathing is on point. You've got to make sure you're bracing your core correctly. And I love that because anytime I feel anxious, I'm now able to pick up on it, and I can turn that into, well, do you remember when you were doing that heavy lift and you were breathing and you were bracing and you were focused? That immediately makes me think, okay, now I'm feeling anxious. I need to breathe. I need to do this. I need to remember what I've been through. And I love the combination. I love how fitness can teach you how to sort of shift that mindset and help you with your mental health. So that is my purpose. My purpose is to just be a voice and to share my journey and to show other people that, there's a huge power within fitness to kind of help you along the way.
Absolutely. Like, fitness is so much more than like what you do in the gym.
Yeah,
I think it's
100%.
It's life-changing, and having somebody there to support you, encourage you, teach you as well, I think makes it even more like special. And I think the more people that start their fitness journey, the better. And I used to be a PT as well, going back about 3 to 4 years ago, but I was always an advocate of, fitness is for everybody. And if you don't think it's for you, it's because you haven't found the type of fitness that is yours. Like, a lot of people get very, like CrossFitters might have jokes about powerlifters and vice versa. Yeah. But, I think it's just important to try everything until you find what is for you.
Definitely.
Rather than conforming to what other people think fitness is. Like, when I was a teenager, I thought fitness was running on a treadmill. I hate running on treadmills. And then,
but it's funny, isn't it, how you grow up and you see certain things, and you just assume that's what you should do.
Yeah, absolutely mad. What is your favorite type of fitness? I know you do lots of different things, but have you still got a favorite?
I love HIIT. I've always loved HIIT, and body weighted movements. That's probably why I do like quite a lot of HIIT workouts. I just think it's fun, it's quick, and it's just amazing what our bodies can do. And also what I've also noticed is, like, I was thinking about this the other week, how during my fitness journey, there's been stages in my life where I've done different types of things, and I've needed that type of training to get me through that period of time. So like HIIT training and doing high energetic classes, because I just needed that rush. I needed the release of the endorphins. I needed to sort of really feel like as though I'm powering through. But now that's sort of shifted. I'm a little bit older and I'm kind of more settled in my thinking, and I've learned more about who I am as a person. I'm now kind of doing Olympic lifting, and I think there's a lot of beauty in how there's so many different types of fitness, but each type of fitness can have like a place within your life at different stages. But HIIT, sorry, I know I do go on a bit, but HIIT is my favorite.
No, I love that. I love how it wasn't just a one word answer. No, I think that was great. I love it. I was going to say, I think in my eyes, you are the queen of HIIT. Yeah, always crushing it. And, I think that, I think it's part of your brand. And I wanted to talk about how over lockdown, I was doing so much HIIT. I thought it was never me, but there I was every day doing my circuits, because, when you're working out in your living room, there's not a whole lot of things you can do.
Apart from HIIT.
But I feel like you were a real champion of like lockdown fitness, and it was 2020 was a mess for everybody for so many different reasons. But I can imagine it was for you in lots of sense as well. But I know that during that time, you're now a decathlon ambassador. You were on Sunday brunch, like working out on the national TV, and you like got an article in Women's Health this month, and I think that's incredible. Like,
thank you.
That what you're doing is reaching so many people.
Yeah, I just felt like, lockdown happened, and 2 days prior to lockdown, I had the worst sciatica pain. So this was the first time I had sciatica. And I remember going into lockdown and I was just on my sofa in bits and watching everyone jump on Insta. I'm going to do a live. And for the first 2 months, I was just like, I'm a failure. I've messed up and I can't move. I can't make any money. I can't move at all. That's it. I'm done. I'm finished. And it was the first month I was pretty much just saying that every single day. Second month, I was kind of getting a bit sick and tired of myself hearing the same thing. And then I just thought, you know what, Saima, you've got a list of things. You've literally been handed time. And if you don't make use of this time, how are you going to look back and say, what have you done? So then I just thought, right, what do I want to do? What are all the things that I've been putting off and saying that, I just don't have time to do it. I will send that email, but I can't, I don't have time. I've got to go and PT this person and I've got to come back and see the kids. So I just thought, right, I'm going to make the most of this opportunity and I'm going to start ticking off everything that I wanted to do. And I spent a lot of time sort of following the right people, trying to connect with the right people and the right brands that I know that I would want to work with, and I like who they are as a brand and I like their ethos. So I didn't just go and start emailing and connecting with every brand. I think that's really important, like especially when you're sort of starting off new, you want to always make sure that you're authentic and you connect with the right people. Like I'm not going to go and try and approach a brand that like a cycling brand because they look good and they give out lots of freebies or whatever. And it's just not me. I don't cycle, so it doesn't make sense for me to go for a brand like that. So I just emailed people and I said, look, this is who I am. I am offering to, I really love who you are. This is who I am. And I would love to kind of do a live workout with you and see how it goes. And I kind of just put it out there and I got on with the rest of my work. And slowly but surely, the right people connected with me. and it just led from one thing to another. And I didn't kind of do the whole thing of stressing about it, because I thought once I've emailed it, just let it go and just leave it. You put it out there and it'll come back to you. So that's that's one thing that I did. And I think because the passion and the purpose was always there, like I just believed in myself, and I just knew that at some point it will come back. But also saying that, I think it's really important that whatever you do in your work, whilst you're being authentic and true, always give to just give. Don't give to receive. So if you're going to do when I started doing live workouts, I did it because people can't afford to pay subscriptions. And you know what? I didn't even think about the money. I just did live workouts because I wanted to do them for myself mainly, and just to help other people feel good about themselves. And when you start giving freely in that sense, everything, like slowly things always come back to you. And I think that's just what happened, really. I think it was a case of contacting the right people, the right brands, and just believing in myself, really.
Yeah, for sure. I think you've hit 2 or 3 quite important points on the head there that I was going to ask you. I think you've covered it already.
Oh, wow.
No, I know you just went, I was like, oh, this is brilliant. Like there's a lot of business owners across like lots of different industries. I know it is quite a prominent thing in fitness to want to be a brand ambassador, to get a sponsorship. Yeah. But also in other industries that I've worked in, for example, like the creative industry, a lot of like photographers want to get sponsored by, various different camera brands and software brands and things like that. And, I think there's 3, like at least 2 like fundamental places where people go wrong with it. And you've covered it because you've done exactly the right thing. Some people chase these brand deals too hard, and they hold on to them really hard. It's, a goal that they must hit. Whereas you sent those emails out, you just shared your story, and you made an offer to just give. And then you let it go. You didn't stress yourself whether you got an answer or not. I think that's the first place where some people go wrong. The second one is chasing brands that don't necessarily align with you. Some people want a brand deal for the sake of having a brand deal, but not because it aligns to their bigger mission. Like you've already seen this as something that's not just about you. And I think that was what I was going to say. 2 critical points where people go wrong when it comes to brand deals is chasing too hard and, doing it for the sake of doing it rather than their greater goals.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think that you're like an exceptional example to learn from, as a.
I think also like during lockdown, I came across sort of companies that are really good, but they might not necessarily have the massive following, which is also another topic that we could touch on. But the products are good and the people behind it are good, and try and support sort of local companies as well. I just actually the other day was asked by a brand if I would join them as an ambassador, and that's just purely down to me constantly showing how much I love their product and how much their product just saves my knees. And it's just that some people will ask to be an ambassador because it will look good, but then the enthusiasm isn't there, the actual honesty isn't there. But then when you're really passionate about a brand, if you're passionate about a product, then they will pick up on that, they will notice that, and they will love your vibe, your honest vibe, and then they will be like, you know what, this person is just what we want, and they will turn around and ask you. Or in my case, I just ask because I've got nothing to lose, and I'm like, by the way, how does one become an ambassador for you, because I genuinely do love your product, and they'll just tell you honest answer. So it's just, again, it's just it comes down to being honest. Be honest on a platform that people need to see honesty and real reality.
Absolutely. If you don't ask, you don't get, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So I'm just really looking forward to this new one.
Yeah, would love to see it. I have a feeling,
Yeah.
like, because I keep up with your content, I have a feeling you
Yeah.
might know what it is, but
Yeah.
keep it under wraps.
Yeah.
What has been like the impact? Have you noticed an impact on yourself, your attitude as a business owner? Has it impacted your brand or your life in general since you've started doing some of these brand partnerships? Or is it just part of a day's work because you're just a superstar now?
Uh, oh gosh. Oh God, I'm so far from being a superstar. It has impacted me. It's made me switch on my business mind a lot more. It's made me always work towards my purpose. I'm always constantly thinking, how does this align with who I am? Is this really me? It keeps me in check, basically. But also, it's just helped me connect with other people as well through these platforms and connect with the right people. So people may have seen me on doing my decathlon live, started following me and said, actually, I saw you on decathlon. I've just started following you on Insta and I read your story about this something that you shared and it really resonated with me. And that's what I've really enjoyed. That's what I've enjoyed, making connections with people that have gone through similar things as me. So that's helped me sort of just work on myself even more and understand myself more and dig in further to my past, because everything that I've done, everything that I do is pretty much related to my upbringing and what I lacked in understanding then as a child and growing up, to what kind of how everything just sort of makes sense why I was feeling this at that time. I've basically just started putting pieces of the puzzle together. So making these connections, these collaborations have just sort of kept me in line with myself and made me, I guess, a better person. I'm understanding a lot more about myself. And it just helps you kind of sort of set your own boundaries within yourself and not give yourself, I don't say yes to everything either. So I'll make sure I'm not overworking and I'm just balancing myself as much as possible.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing. That's the best way to go about it. And it's really nice to hear like the impact that it's had on you, because not everybody is a brand ambassador. Not many people actually get to experience that. So it's really interesting to hear about the effects it's had on you and what you do. And you mentioned there about setting boundaries and staying grounded. How do you, what other things do you do to stay grounded and take care of yourself as a business owner?
I need to make sure I have time out for myself. So up until the lead up until Christmas, there were a few months where I was just constantly go, go, go. And I just had to have the laptop open. And I just felt like I had to do something. I had to write something. I had to do this. And then when it got to Christmas and I just stopped for the Christmas period and I crashed, I actually thought, okay, I'm just doing way too much. I'm not taking care of myself. So now it's a case of I'll wake up in the morning and I will go for a morning walk just because it just clears my head. This week I've not done it, which is fine because I needed the extra sleep. And I'm okay with that. And I'm just like, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. And I'm just going to take this week as like a deload week if I'm not going for my morning walks. I'm just in tune with what I'm feeling. I will write things down. I make sure that I have a good circle of friends that I can relate to, that I can talk to and rant to. I think that's really important. And I will even say to my closest friends, like I'll send them a message and say, listen, you need to send me a voice note ranting, just do it because it will get it off your chest. And close friendships have just really helped me, because, like I said, like, despite working, we still have our own personal life. We have our personal things that we go through, and I've just really kept on top of making sure that I sort of am aware of my feelings, what I'm thinking, etc., and why, and just being more in control of how I react to certain things.
Yeah. That's really interesting that you say that, because I feel like that was one of my biggest realizations over the last year as well. One, it's really important to remember that even though we are online entrepreneurs and we sharing our story on social media is just part and parcel of what we do, there's still a lot of the stories and just day-to-day thoughts and feelings that don't go on social media. It's really important to bear that in mind. And I feel like knowing where that boundary lies for you is like an essential component of, I'd just say, sanity.
Yeah, definitely.
And knowing, like, I don't know how I lived my life prior to this. I just don't even know how my brain functioned. But when I realized that you can control the way that you react to situations, your feelings are just you taking action on your thoughts. If you have a sad thought and you want to hold on to it and be upset all day, you're actually in control of that situation. It's okay to have sad thoughts. It's up to you whether you engage with them or how long you engage them for. So, like, I don't know, if something isn't going as well as you want it to, maybe, I don't know, you have a fleeting thought, oh gosh, I'm a failure. This didn't go right, or I haven't done this and somebody else is doing that. You can sit and wallow in that all day, like, oh gosh, like, or you can actually go, you know what? I was sad for 20 minutes, but I've decided that I don't want to be sad anymore. And you don't have to stay in that state to justify that. So especially like if other people are involved. So, I live with my boyfriend, and if I have a tantrum and I'm upset for half an hour, I don't need to be upset all day just to justify that I was an absolute brat for half an hour. I am allowed to just switch it off when I want to. And, nobody is judging me for that. Whether I was a nightmare for half an hour or not is irrelevant. I'm allowed to just start being happy again. I don't have to punish myself for that all day.
100%. And that's where a lot of people kind of forget that we are in complete control of everything, and it's a choice. It is hard. I'm not saying that, if you are having a low episode that you'll suddenly snap out of it, but you have a choice to work on yourself and to do something to help you get yourself out of that state. And I, like, over lockdown, there were 3 particular sort of friendships that really had an effect on me and just made me think about myself as a person and my values. And there was one particular one that was just over social media. And it was just a company getting in touch with me, and the other person was working with them. They didn't like it. And I was just kind of like, I felt like I was stuck in the middle because I was approached and I'm friends with this person. They didn't like it. They didn't want me to work with this brand. And I'm like, hey, I don't know what to do. But then when someone else is sort of inflicting their negativity and their insecurities on you, it put me in a state for a week where I was just not eating, sleeping. And I actually kind of was questioning myself, and I was actually questioning what I do as a job, and I was questioning what I do on social media. And that's when I was just like, hold on a second, I need to reassess all of this. What is my worth? What is my value? What am I actually, how much time and effort am I putting into my business? What is it projecting? And I chose to take control of that situation and eliminate basically this person, and just kind of carry on doing what I'm doing. And that was just basically down to me realizing that I am in control, and I don't want to be in this situation where I feel like I'm questioning who I am as a person, and I'm questioning my ethics, my working ethics. So I think that's really important for people to realize. And even now that we're not in this sort of, we've come out of lockdown, people are still anxious about lots of things, returning to the gym, returning to work, online. Just always kind of stay true to your values, but know that you are in complete control to make everything happen. I think that's super important.
Yeah, definitely. You're in control of more than you think you are, I would argue. Even when it feels like you're not in control. Like, I always find it's really helpful to actually like write it down if I have to, but identify, in this situation, what is under my control and what's not under my control. For the most part, the only things that aren't in your control are things that other people are doing.
Yeah.
But you can control, I'd argue, like a good 99% of the things that you do, because everything is a choice, from what you do to how you feel to what you say. And when you realize that, I think you start to open lots of doors that you might not have seen that were there, or that you believed were locked.
Yeah, 100%. And that's where you kind of, and it just gave me a push, to an even bigger push, to say, like, what am I doing? Who do I want to work with? And am I still on my journey? And it just opened more doors for me to be more confident in myself and think, right, I'm going to continue what I'm doing. And I need to share my story even more. I need to make, stay true to myself. So choice and control is up to you, and it's down to you. And anything else outside of that is everyone else's sort of issue, basically.
Yeah. How to stop caring what other people think and doing what I want.
Yeah, basically.
So you mentioned just then, like, making sure that you're still on the right journey, that you're still like aligned with that. And just to wrap things up, what does your journey for 2021 look like? I know we've only just got back into the gym, so it's all a little bit, not sure, but what is the rest of 2021 about for you?
Good question. I think it is just about staying focused, to keep doing what I'm doing. And there are there's one thing that I know I've already shared with you, that I need to start working on. And again, my aim is to keep sort of sharing my story, my journey, connecting with like-minded people. So the focus for this year is to just keep going on, and keep reaching out as many people as I possibly can, and making connections with people that are going to align with me in sharing my my purpose and my goal, and just continue being a voice, really.
Yeah, I love that. Spreading your message in lots of different ways.
And be on the cover of Women's Health one day.
Yeah. See, we've got you an article in the magazine. Yes. It's time to get you on the cover, and I know it's going to happen. I know it will.
Yay. Yeah, it will.
We've decided.
Yeah, I have. It's done. It's dusted. I put it out there.
I love that. So, it's been really good fun to talk to you today.
Yeah, it's been amazing.
And, I'm looking forward to coming back down to London this summer to stay for a while. Can meet you in person for the second time ever.
I know, right?
I know.
There won't be any palm trees or heat or pool, but it's still good. It's still good. I mean,
compared to Manchester, I might as well be in Spain. Like, the temperature difference over 200 miles is like,
wow.
It's a lot. Insane. Yeah, no, for sure.
Wow. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You wouldn't believe it, but it's true.
No. Well, I've had a really good time. This is my very first podcast that I've ever done.
I still don't believe that. I still don't think that's true.
Well, it is. So thank you for having me on. It's been a real pleasure.
No, I've really enjoyed having you today. So thanks again, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks again for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, we'd love to see you sharing it on your social media. You can tag us at DaniBarker_media and at Coach_Saima. But that's all from us today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again next time.